Welcome to our Lenten Reflections. I'm Father Jonas John Piri. Today, we still continue to reflect on the significance of fasting. Last time, we said that fasting is a voluntary abstinence from or the renunciation of anything that is good in itself, such as food and drink, with the purpose of realigning the desires of one's heart according to the will of God. We also said that fasting is meant to intensify one's expression of the need for something greater. However, fasting is not easy because our natural tendency is not to deny the flesh or the body, but to gratify or satisfy it. So the immediate result of a fast might be temptation and discouragement, which is why during the fast we must keep in mind that Holy Scripture commands us to continually die to self, and our rewards are not stored up in earthly treasures, but treasures in heaven. Therefore, we must live a life of putting off temporarily bodily satisfaction to set up eternal satisfaction. Fasting is more than cutting something out for a short period of time or some period of time. It is a sacrificial lifestyle before God and telling Him that I belong to you, not to things of the world. Fasting is not simply a one-time act of humility. It is a continuous sacrifice of servant living for God and for others. For example, we read in Luke chapter 2, verse 37, that, "And this woman, Anna, was a widow of about 84 years, who did not depart from the temple, but served God with fasting and prayers night and day." In this instance, fasting is said to be one way of serving God. Jesus also fasted when he was tempted by Satan. One of the texts is Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 to 11. Just like the prophets in the Old Testament did, Jesus fasted in times of intense spiritual needs. Therefore, one can say with certainty that fasting was a key element in Jesus' spiritual journey. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 1, he admonished thus, "Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites, with sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly, I say to you, they have had their reward." This is even clearer when Jesus insisted in the passage that our fasting should not be for the sake of impressing other people. Instead, we should keep other people from knowing that we are fasting by washing our face and combing our hair. Thus, Jesus warns us of the spiritual danger of hypocritical fasting. Matthew chapter 6, verse 16. This is because hypocritical fasting is not of service to God, self, or anyone else. Pope Francis reminds us that fasting makes sense if it really chips away at our security and, as a consequence, benefits someone else. The current observations on fasting are that only individuals between the ages of 18 and 59 are required to fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, and that all over or above the age of 14 are required to abstain from meat on Ash Wednesday and all Fridays of Lent. Also, or of ill healthy are not required to fast. And the same applies to those who are breastfeeding, those that are doing hard labor, those that are traveling long distances, and those who find it hard to find food or to earn a living. In addition, all Christians should also fast from social media, from technology, from gossip, and excessive screen time or excessive watching of TV, among others. Fasting then reminds us of our hunger for God. For our meditation at home, we can take the following passages. Joel chapter 2, verses 12 to 14, Isaiah chapter 58, verses 6 to 7, Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 to 18, Mark chapter 1, verses 12 to 15. Isaiah tells us that fasting loosens the chains of injustice, it unties the cords of the yoke, it sets the oppressed free, and it breaks every yoke. He also tells us that when we turn away from our own flesh and blood, the Lord's light will break like the dawn, and his healing will quickly appear. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 6 and 8. Therefore, my fasting should be of benefit to those who are in need, and my fasting should impel me to work for justice. Therefore, what food or drink or habit am I giving up, especially this Lenten season, in order to grow in intimacy with God, to serve him and to serve others, especially the needy? Until next time, may God give us the grace in order to enter fully into the demands of Lent through prayer, self-denial, fasting, and almsgiving. God bless you.